unfortunately and fortunately, we're in about the same spot we were a month ago and 2 months ago and 3 months ago. Is that we kind of went into winter, and since then we've stayed in winter, which is a good thing for canola. It's not been really cold and then really warm, then really cold and really warm. So that's a good thing for canola. Once it kind of went into dormancy, it's stayed for the most part. The unfortunate thing for the canola is we are starting to see very, very small pockets around the state green up a little bit. Yeah, last week we had 60s and 70-degree temperature, and if we take a look right here with the canola that we kind of found here, anything that has like distorted or damaged tissue was probably here in the fall.
Right.
But what we're starting to see is some of these new leaves that don't have anything. We're starting to see them kind of perk up a little bit and get a little more length to them and grow a little bit more than we'd like to see when we're still pretty deep into winter and we don't have any soil moisture available. So really time will tell. We're not in a bad spot.
Right.
We're not in a great spot either. So time will tell. The next couple of weeks will kind of tell the story of the canola season this year. If we get some timely rains and we warm up slowly, this could still be a really good crop. If it warms up very rapidly with little moisture, what we're going to do is we're going to wind up in the same situation we were last year with very little vegetative growth before that canola plant starts going reproductive, and it potentially could hurt yields then at that point.
So here we are in the middle of February, and we're not out of the cold season yet, but we are going to be having those warmer days show up too. I always say never count out a snow until after spring break. So if we do get that snow, will that hurt the canola crop?
The good thing with canola is that we always say if we can get it to green up in the spring, we're going to have a crop. You're going to be able to harvest something. So the benefit with canola over wheat is it is very flexible in the spring. Even really late season freezes, we could see some pods not fill, but that reproductive structure of canola is very flexible. We can still get a very, very nice yield even if we get some later season freezes and some snow. Snow would not be hurtful right now. Any moisture would be good moisture at this point in time.
As we switch gears from a winter crop to say a summer crop, what are some options aside from the old standbys for summer crops for Oklahoma producers?
Well, we'll go through this whole segment without saying the word cotton because I think that's going to be by far the biggest option of this year. I think the prices are nice. Guys are going to grow cotton in areas such as the Panhandle that have not seen cotton in several years. So cotton's still a really nice option with the new technology, everything out there. Of course, we talked about corn and soybeans, and milo is still a really good option. The biggest push I'm hearing this year is sesame. We're going to see probably a lot more acres of sesame than we have in the last couple years. It's going to be a really big year for sesame. The challenge with it is we don't have a whole lot of data, so the institutional knowledge is really low. And the other thing is that our biggest thing that we do have data on is there's not a whole lot of herbicides we have to work with. And that's kind of where we're sitting at with sesame. It's still a really nice option for Oklahoma. It's very drought tolerant, very heat tolerant, so those long dry Julys that we're going to get, it can work its way through it pretty nicely. It's also really nice, especially our guys that just do summer crops. It's a broadleaf in the system, which is really good. And so our two biggest crops that might see the biggest push this year being sesame and cotton. Nice to see a broadleaf getting in the option or getting in the system, especially if you're a traditional grass farmer during the summer with corn and milo. So, but never count out the things don't sell the whole farm to a new crop that you don't know how to grow. Make sure you still have those old standbys that we can almost guarantee will get a yield and some profit off of.
And let's talk about no-till systems and those producers that are looking at a fallow year this year. Is that going to be the best option for some of this land?
It really depends. I really like fallow years. It's harder because you're not pulling profit off of that year. But in Oklahoma, our soils being a little more fragile than the Midwest. We can't always look toward the Midwest. Our soils are a little more fragile. Our summers are a lot more harsh. And so going into a fallow year, especially if you have some weed problems, that's a really good thing. We always hear guys that we want to bring steel out into a no-till system because we have resistant weeds. A fallow year is a good time to actually get out there and control it with a wide array of herbicides that you have available to yourself now. I mean, even some of our just broad spectrum will attempt to kill everything on the field. that's a good option. So if we are going into a fallow system, especially if we don't get a whole lot of rain between now and May, a fallow system might be your best thing to kind of help clean up some of the land, get some of that pigweed or the mare's tail or any of those grasses out, and really set everything right for when we do get rain. It's best for our summer crops, we don't push it. If we get just a little bit of rain to where we can get something in, that's good, but don't sell out all your acres if we don't have a whole lot of soil moisture. Remember, it's not just what we get, it's what we have stored in the soil, and right now we have very little stored in the soil. So if we can get some nice timely rains between here and March or April, yeah, it's time to maybe think about going into that summer crop. But if not, we're laying fallow out, getting ready for wheat next year, getting ready for canola. It's a good time to really clean up those fields.
Okay, thank you much. Josh Lofton, our cropping systems specialist here at Oklahoma State University. And for more information on any of what he talked about today, visit our website, sunup.okstate.edu.